Peyton Manning will get his numbers. And he's going to put up decent numbers, if nothing else, if not big numbers, regardless of what's around him, because he is a weapon, and he is one of the best weapons as far as quarterbacks in the NFL. Him and Brady are neck and neck, and they have been for years now. And that's why he's the MVP.
Yep. My least valuable player is actually a coach.
Okay, who is it?
Jack Del Rio.
Really? You don't like? You think he's gonna sink the team?
No. Okay. I really like just kind of like what I know about him. I really like him, and I've always liked him. And the Jags we're always like, it's cool that kind of team is doing well.
It's like, oh, that's so cute. They're trying to be competitive.
But I just think that he's gonna be the weak. I just think that he's not gonna maybe least valuable player in that he's just not gonna take them anywhere, and I just don't think it's gonna go anywhere. Was yours a coach too?
No,
okay.
I was thinking because I remember I picked Mangini on Friday for the Browns. No, my least valuable player was a player. Same team though, and I think Garrard was vastly overrated.
It was
couple
close.
Years
it
ago,
was close for me,
and I think he still is overrated. And he's not going to have an offensive line, and he's not going to do anything but sink that team this year. And he seems like a nice guy, but hey, I'm sorry, looks like he sucks to me.
Okay, so records.
Me or you?
I'll go.
Okay, go.
My records are I have the Colts were 12-4 last year.
Yep.
I have them at 11-5 this year. Next, I have the Titans not doing nearly what they had last year at 9-7. The Texans for a bunch of half of their years have finished 8-8.
Yeah, the last couple years have been 8-8.
I think they're going to finish 9-7, but that could change. Considering I have them as my dark horse, and I have the Jags. Maybe this is too generous. Maybe I'm too nice, but I have the Jags at 6-10.
Okay, I'm gonna go again, last to first, just to build.
I forgot to do that
because I like the drama. I have Jacksonville repeating the record from last year, 5-11. You are too nice because if everybody wins as many games as you predict for them to win, somebody's got to lose.
Well, you wait until we get to the South.
Yeah, we'll look back on them. You're like, wow, Chris, you have teams both winning a game against each other. Tennessee at 8-8. I think they're gonna take a major step backward because that whole defense was built around Hainsworth, and he's gone now. And that's what they need. Their defense won a lot of games for them last year, and the defense is going to be half as good as it was. Indianapolis at 10-6, because I think they're due to step backwards. And I think the Houston Texans, for the first time in their history, are going to have a winning season at 11-5 and win the division. That being said, and I should say this probably from when we're done with the AFC, but I think Indy gets a wild card.
Okay, yeah, say that. But okay, that's very interesting. I think that's the first time that we have not had the exact same four.
Well, last year, Friday I picked Ravens to win the division.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah, but I'm just getting ballsy.
So I think it's time,
right,
for our top five. And because we said last week that we were going to do because we're doing our NFL preview, that we're going to do the top five. So based on that,
storylines.
Yeah. So today we're going to do the top five storylines of the AFC South.
Yeah, and I'd just like to point out that if you're fans of the AFC North and you or listen to us on Friday and you were like, "What? No top five." We will top fives are Monday only, and that when we get past, once we're done with all the previews, we'll come back, double back on those divisions and do storylines for them as well. So. Fear not, Pittsburgh, Cleveland, Baltimore fans. Cincinnati has no fans.
Okay. Well, Cleveland doesn't have many.
Yeah.
So okay, Doug. So what's your top five or your number 5 storyline?
I think the number 5 storyline is how David Garrard's going to adjust right now. I think, in my opinion, he is the key to that team having any success this year, and I've already predicted him to fail. I think it's going to be something to watch, especially since a couple years ago they signed him big time. They said, "You are our franchise quarterback." He kind of has to go out and earn it again now, it seems like, after last year.
Okay. My number 5, a bunch of times they finished 7-9, a bunch of times they finished 8-8. Mm-hmm. Can the Texans finally win more games than they lose? Can they finish above 500?
Yeah, and that's the thing, too. It's been like the last couple of years, we're like, hey, we are at 500. We rock.
500 is just so blah.
It's so blah, and yet for a team that's never previously had been there or been above that, I mean, it's like, woohoo, 500.
That's why, that's definitely a storyline.
My number 4 is similar. It's basically, I wrote down Houston's ascension, which I think if Houston does as I predict, it's going to be a major storyline. If not, if nothing else, this is a team that should at this time now be taking a step forward because their young players should be getting to that point. If not, then they need to make changes. But I think another part of it too, and part of a subset of that is Matt Schaub. He has been injury prone his entire career in Houston. he needs to start 16 games this year because they don't have Sage Rosenfels on the bench anymore.
Yep.
So that's a part of it.
My number 4 is the Colts losing Harrison. I think it's he wasn't that good last year, but I think it's a big deal, and I think it'll be interesting to see how they adjust.
I don't think it'll make any difference because he was mediocre last year. It'd be like the Bears losing Rasheed Davis this offseason.
I don't even know who that is.
Exactly.
Well, Marvin Harrison is.
His career has been. Last year he wasn't. Number 3, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Number 3 was Tennessee's attempt to defend the division / rebound from the ugly playoff loss. You know that the people on that team have to be gung-ho for the new season, ready to get it done, whatnot. I think part of the storyline, I think you're going to see a lot of articles around training camp about how Tennessee, how much that loss hurt and how determined they are to get to the Super Bowl and win it all this year. I don't think they'll come close, but the point is that it's going to be a storyline.
My number 3 is I wrote, can the Titans repeat? Probably not. So I think that it's the same as yours. Obviously, can they repeat the division?
Yeah. Number 2 is, and I think let's not underplay this. I think it will be underplayed, but I think it's a huge storyline. What, if anything, can the Titans do without Albert Haynesworth? Again, my opinion was he was a huge part of that defense. Without him, it's going to be really basically whoever steps in to replace him is going to be really important, and they're going to have to.
There's a lot of pressure on him.
There is going to be a lot of pressure on him, and it might just be me, but it is.
Nope. My number 2 was I wrote Titans lose Haynesworth. I think it's a huge story, and you're right, it will be underplayed, but it's a huge story.
Yeah, because defensive linemen always get underplayed,
and that's why I had them at 9-7, which may even be too many.
Yeah, and I said 8-8. I mean, but we're both saying. I mean, that's a 4-game swing, 5-game swing on my side.
And of course, not all of that is them losing Haynesworth, but yeah.
Right, but I mean, if Haynesworth doesn't put pressure on the quarterback, then
that's probably
the receiver gets open. I mean, it affects the whole defense, really.
Mm-hmm.
The number 1 story, and I think this is kind of an obvious one, but I still have to go with it, and that is going to be, how does Indianapolis work without Dungy? And I think Dungy's departure is going to be twice as big as Harrison's departure. This guy was more than just a good coach. He was a calming influence. He was a motivator and everything else. So I think it's important.
And my number 1 was the new Colts coach, of course. I think it's going to be a huge story. And
personally, I think Colts are about to start a downward trend. And unfortunately for him, he got him at the worst possible time. Yeah. But then again, nobody ever stays on a sinking ship. If the guy's retiring, the ship is on its way down. He can sense it. All right, and so another episode of Racin and stuff.
Wow.
We got a couple minutes left, so we gotta just quick thank yous to FATV, Paul Sauer today. Congratulations to Jamie Lara on his big news. I'll make sure it's kosher with him that I can say it on air next week, but I will say it if that's the case. But otherwise, and thank you to Shanier Perkins again. He's been great helping us out the last few weeks. We've been in between directors. Actually, as far as I'm concerned, he is a director. So it's good to have him around. Chris, really fast. Email, website, whatnot.
Check us out. You might be watching us right now on there, but check us out on YouTube, youtube.com/racinstuff. It's our official YouTube page. You can power search us on iTunes. Search Racin and Stuff on iTunes. If you ever want to email us any questions, comments, concerns, suggestions, money, promos, advertisements, racinandstuff@gmail.com. You can email us there. Did I forget one? No, that's it.
I think that's everything. If not, I'll put it up on the viewing. So, as always, I'm Doug.
And I'm Chris.
And we'll talk to you later.
See ya.